This Red Sox catching prospect is crushing everything in sight right now, so who is he? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. With the Red Sox playing a pretty critical series in New York at the moment, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about a prospect the Red Sox stole from the Yankees this offseason named Mickey Gasper, who has been on an absolute tear with the Boston Red Sox since getting taken in the Rule 5 draft. So what we're going to do is talk to Mickey Gasper himself about his promotion and his mindset coming into AAA, and we're going to be breaking down what he's done so far this season and how it could impact the 2024 Red Sox. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Mickey's a really interesting Red Sox prospect to talk about because he's not your average prospect when it comes to age. Mickey is currently in his age 28 season. He spent a pretty decent amount of time in the New York Yankees system. He's also what many people consider to be a catching prospect, despite the fact that he's actually played about the same, if not more, games over at first base throughout his career so far, as well as mixing in some second base and some third base. And on top of that, he hits from both sides of the plate. Regardless of the interest behind him, when he got to the Boston Red Sox, he was assigned to Double-A baseball, and during that time, from both sides of the plate, Mickey Gasper started to turn some heads a bit. Before getting promoted, he slashed .282 with a .403 on base percentage and a .458 slug, which was good for a 145 WRC plus. But what I think is really the most impressive aspect of Mickey Gasper's time in Double-A with the Portland Sea Dogs and in his first impression with the Red Sox is the fact that he actually struck out less times than he walked. In fact, it was a 14.8% walk rate to a 12.5% strikeout rate. This performance on the field gained Gasper a ticket to AAA Worcester about 2.5-3 weeks ago, and we actually caught up with Mickey Gasper just a couple of days after he joined up with the Worcester Red Sox and talked to him about what it was like to get promoted and what his focus is on now that he's with the Worcester Red Sox. We're here with Mickey Gasper, who just got called up a couple of days ago, a week ago about now.
Yeah,
what
Tuesday.
was that sort of like?
It was exciting. You know, my manager gave me a call Monday evening before our series was going to start up in Portland. So I got here Tuesday morning, got all settled in. Worcester is a beautiful city, so had some, got my feet wet, walked around, saw my new place, and just ready to play some ball.
Yeah, perfect. And then what is sort of your goal coming up now that you're here and that you've gotten a little bit of a feel for the area? What's sort of the goal now that you're at AAA, sort of, individually? Obviously, the main goal is to get to Fenway at some point.
Certainly. But yeah, just help the team win, honestly. Good things happen when you're winning. If you're a contributor when good things are going, when you're winning ball games, that means, you're doing the right thing. So if I can just be a winning player for the Worcester Red Sox and, help us get dubs and slide up the standings, and, I think that's a good goal to have, and that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then just real quick, 3 rapid-fire questions. Ted Williams or David Ortiz? Yeah, it's not
Ted
easy.
Williams.
Ted Williams. All right, you're the first one to say that. And then would you rather hit for a cycle or a 3-home-run game at the big league level?
Probably 3 home runs.
3 home runs?
Cycle's only one more hit. Yeah,
True.
I'll take 3 home runs.
It's a good day. And then would you rather have the best contact ability in all of baseball or the best power in all of baseball?
I'll take contact.
Contact
I like getting
all
on
day?
base.
That's a good answer. All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Before we get into what Mickey has done in AAA and what it means for the Red Sox, do me a favor. If you haven't already, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button. We talk Sox almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit that like button as well. Not only does it help these videos out a ton, it's also the best way you can let me know you're enjoying the content we are putting out. Thank you all very much for taking a second and doing so. Let's talk about what Mickey's been able to do in AAA and how it affects this Red Sox team. I apologize if this interview was a little bit shorter than what we're used to on this channel. Mickey had somewhere to be, and he still took the time and talked to us about his promotion. So a huge thank you to Mickey. He really didn't have to do that, but he was nice enough too. And one thing I really took out of this interview, and one thing I wanted to highlight from this interview, is the mentality that Mickey has about where he wants to be with this Worcester Red Sox team, and obviously eventually with the Boston Red Sox. And I think it's something that comes with experience. He has that sort of team first mentality. Hey man, if I go 0 for 4, but the Red Sox pull it out 4-3, somehow I did my job and I helped this team win some games. And to me, that's what's really important about Mickey Gasper's mentality. It means a lot to a clubhouse. It's a really great mentality to have, especially as a catcher as well. So that was my big takeaway from this Mickey Gasper interview. But what I wanted to really point out was the fact that this was actually taken a few weeks ago when Mickey had just been called up. Since he got called up, he has been tearing the absolute cover off of this baseball, because at the time of this recording, which is a day before you guys are seeing this, Mickey in 17 games with the Red Sox has a 410 average with a 500 on base percentage, which means he's getting on base as many times as he's getting out. That's not very easy to do even in a 17 game sample size. He has a 672 slug, which is good for a 203 WRC plus. He has been 103% better than the average hitter in the league. In that time, he also has 3 home runs and 7 doubles. But what I think is even more impressive than his video game slash line is what he's been able to do with his plate discipline, because we talked about it. He was pretty disciplined in Double-A, right? He was walking more than he was striking out. He's increased that more now that he's gotten to Triple-A. In fact, he sliced his strikeout rate basically in half. It went from 12.7, 6.9. That is extremely impressive. And on top of that, his walk rate stayed pretty similar. It's currently at 13.9%. It's kind of ridiculous that right now he's currently walking twice every time he's striking out once. And I know this is a small sample size here, but Mickey has had a really great feel for the strike zone basically throughout his entire career, because if you look at it, it spans over 6 seasons, including the one we are talking about today. And in that time frame, he has only had a strikeout rate over 20% twice. That's really impressive to say, and overall, it's a strikeout rate of 18.8% on his career so far, which for those of you who don't know, is pretty well below average when it comes to Major League Baseball. If he was doing that at the Major League level, he'd be striking out about 4% less than the average Major League hitter, and that's a really impressive statistic to mention. Now, this is all fine and dandy, right? I understand that, but Corbin, what does this mean for the 2024 Red Sox, and why are we talking about Mickey Gasper? Let me tell you why. If Mickey Gasper keeps hitting the way he's hitting right now up until the MLB trade deadline, this could put the Red Sox in a really interesting situation with a couple of different options on this team, because like I said, Mickey Gasper not only hits from both sides of the plate, he plays a couple of different positions as well. Again, most people would consider him a catching prospect, but he's actually spent a lot of games at first base. He's also spent some time at second base and some time at third base as well. And what I will say about his catching ability is I've never personally scouted him out as a catcher, and honestly, even if I did, I don't know if I could give you guys a super accurate rating on what I think he'd be like as a defensive catcher in Major League Baseball. But just taking a look at his overall statistics here, he's played 9 games in the catching spot with the Worcester Red Sox. That includes 1 error, 2 pass balls, and allowing 21 stolen bases while catching 1. It doesn't seem like he'd be a fantastic defensive catcher, but honestly, I don't have enough knowledge to let you know that. Now, what I will say is if he does continue to hit like this, I wonder if the Red Sox start considering Reese McGuire and Emmanuel Valdez as options to move at this year's deadline to supplement this current Red Sox team. Because if they are confident that Mickey may have the ability to be brought up in the second half of the season here, or essentially the second half after the deadline, they may be inclined to say, okay, we can get rid of a backup catcher, we can get rid of a second baseman, because again, Mickey Gasper, he could be a right-handed first base backup and he could be a left-handed catching backup, which solves a couple of different Red Sox problems all in one go. Now, does this mean I think Mickey's going to be a massive impact player with the 2024 Boston Red Sox? I don't, but I do think him hitting this way does make him a bit of an option. Sometimes you don't need to be a superstar to make an impact on a big league club, and I think that's exactly what Mickey Gasper could do, especially if he maintains his ability ability to get on base. And on top of that, it's not like the Red Sox really are taking a massive risk here with Mickey, mostly because you've got guys like Kyle Teel, Johan Fran Garcia, who I know is out for the season, but you got those guys coming up over the next couple of years. Mickey doesn't have to be the future of your catching, but he can be a person who improves your bench going into the second half. At the very least, he could be a guy who helps you ease in Tristan Casas over there at first base once he gets back from the IL. He can be a guy who very once in a while could give you some second base or third base innings. He's a guy who could also get Connor Wong off his feet without giving up so much offensive production. And to me, that could end up making Mickey Gasper a pretty valuable catching prospect for the Red Sox here in the second half. He's also, again, he's a guy who spent a lot of time in minor league baseball, which means they don't really have to sit there and say, man, do we risk impeding his development a bit? I would say he's pretty well developed at this point, and his next challenge now is going to be whether or not that translates to Major League Baseball. Again, do I think Mickey Gasper is going to end up as the face of the Red Sox franchise over the next couple of years? I don't, but that doesn't mean he can't have any impact at the big league level. Just because this guy isn't a top 20, 25 Red Sox prospect doesn't mean he won't have some important innings in Major League Baseball. So I always love talking about guys like this, maybe some guys who have flown under the radar, players who you might not know the name of, but once they get up here, you're like, wow, where did this guy come from? Well, this is exactly where Mickey Gasper is coming from. I'm really excited for him, and I do see an opportunity for him to make an impact in Major League Baseball, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? Do you think Mickey Gasper could have an impact on this 2024 team? And if so, what role do you think that could be in? Let me know all your thoughts on Mickey Gasper, the prospect the Red Sox sold that appears to be crushing everything, in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Like I said, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button. We talk Sox almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Again, it just helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content we are putting out. Don't forget, you can always get these episodes in podcast form, available on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or just head over to whatever your favorite podcasting app is and look up Red Seat Radio to listen on the go. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.